This is a request for top-tier horror content tailored for two very different cultural contexts. Crucial note on cultural adaptation: the Skinwalker is a very specific creature from Navajo, Native American folklore in the southwestern United States. It is taboo to even speak its name there. To make the best story for a Bangladeshi audience, I cannot simply translate the American story. The concept of a skinwalker doesn't exist in the same way in Bengal. Instead, I must adapt the core horror elements of the skinwalker trope: shape-shifting, uncanny mimicry of human voices to lure victims, and apex predation, and graft them onto Bengali folklore elements like the nishi, or powerful dark forest entities, jinn variants. Here is a complete package designed for a high-quality, immersive YouTube horror narration channel. Part 1. United States English Audience. The Original Trope. Video title: The Thing That Wears My Brother's Voice. A Skinwalker Encounter. Short description: a geologist working solo in the high desert of Utah realizes that the silence of the canyons is a lie. Something is out there, something that looks like a coyote but walks on two legs and screams with the voice of people who are thousands of miles away. Story script. Intro: sound of desert wind, high and lonely. A single coyote howl in the distance, abruptly cut off. They tell you never to say the name out loud, especially when you're out here, where the cell service dies and the red rock canyons stretch out like open wounds in the earth. My name is Mark. I am a contract surveyor for a mining concern. My job is usually boring. Drive out to the middle of nowhere in Utah, take soil samples, map geological shifts, and sleep in my camper shell. I like the isolation. At least I used to. This happened last October. I was assigned to a sector near the Arizona border, an area so remote the only roads were dried-up washbeds. The first 2 days were standard. It was the third night when the feeling hit me. If you spend enough time alone in the desert, you develop a sixth sense for being watched. It's primal. The hairs on my arms stood up. The silence of the desert suddenly felt heavy, like a held breath. I was sitting by my small campfire, heating up chili. It was dead quiet. No crickets, no wind. Then, from the ridge above me, maybe 200 yards away, I heard a sound. It sounded like a dog being strangled, a wet, choking yelp that went on for too long. I grabbed my heavy-duty flashlight and swept the beam across the ridgeline. Nothing, just sagebrush and sandstone shadows. I told myself it was a cougar taking down a mule deer. Nature is cruel. I went to bed in the back of my truck, locking the camper shell tight. At 2 a.m., I woke up. I didn't know why at first. Then I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. Something was tapping on the fiberglass shell of my truck, right by my head. I froze. It was too rhythmic to be an animal bumping against it. It was deliberate. I lay there, clutching the tire iron I kept under my sleeping bag. The tapping stopped. Then came the sound that broke my reality. From just outside the thin metal wall of the truck, a voice spoke. "Hey, Mark, you awake, buddy? I got a flat down the road." My blood turned to ice. It was my brother David's voice. My brother David lives in Chicago. He is an accountant. He has never been camping in his life. He didn't even know exactly where I was. "Mark, come on, man. Open up. It's freezing out here." The mimicry was flawless. The cadence, the slight nasal tone, it was David, But underneath the voice, there was something else, a shallow, rapid panting sound, like a dog that had been running too hard. "Mark, open up." My brain was screaming at me to open the door, that my brother needed help. My instinct, the lizard brain's survival instinct, was screaming at me to stay perfectly still. "You're not David," I whispered. It was barely audible. The voice outside stopped instantly. The silence stretched for 10 agonizing seconds. Then it let out a sound I didn't think a biological organism could make. It wasn't a scream. It was a high-pitched, digitized shriek, like a radio scanning through static frequencies mixed with the sound of a crying infant. It was a sound of pure, unfiltered rage. The truck violently rocked. Something massive slammed against the side. I scrambled to the driver's seat, jamming the keys into the ignition. I threw on the high beams. There it was, standing about 50 feet front of the truck. At first glance, my brain registered bear. It was huge, covered in matted, patchy, dark fur, but bears don't stand like that. Its rear legs were bent backward, like a dog's, but it was upright. Its arms were too long, dangling almost to the ground, ending with hands that looked disturbingly human, but tipped with blackened claws. It didn't have a bear's face. The head was vaguely canine, a rotted coyote skull shape. But the eyes, they weren't animal eyes that reflect light in the dark. They were dull, flat human eyes, and they were looking directly at me with an intelligence that was ancient and hateful. It opened its jaws, they unhinged too wide, and out came my brother's voice again, distorted now like a speaker blown out. "Mark, open up!" I slammed the truck into reverse, kicking up gravel. I didn't care about the road. I drove blindly through the sagebrush, bouncing violently, praying I didn't hit a rock and blow a tire. I drove for 3 hours until I hit a paved highway. I didn't stop until I reached the first gas station with fluorescent lights blazing. I quit my job the next day. I live in the city now. I don't go camping. But sometimes, late at night, when the street noise dies down, I'll get a phone call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. When I listen to the messages, it's just 10 seconds of silence, followed by that wet, shallow panting sound.